Hello, and welcome to the Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and the Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who had an association with Oshkosh or the surrounding Fox Valley area. It's a good day today. It's like a fantastic day. I'm super excited to be here with you, Kosh listeners, have another amazing conversation. Know that in this new year, I am going to try to be making some transitions. I'm going to try to do things a little differently, do things a little better. But while we're figuring it out, we're going to try to stick to what has worked so far. And so far, it seems like it works. We get pretty good feedback from the listeners out there. But there will be changes that we're going to be making. So don't be surprised if we drop in some new segments or drop off a segment and we start making some changes and everything. But you know what time it is. Once again, we have been blessed with an amazing guest. I don't know how we are able to get such good guests, but we do. We get really good guests. And this week's guest is Lynnsey Erickson. Lynnsey, how are you doing over there?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
All right.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Like it's a fantastic day. I'm in the middle of taking a little time away from the professional life, which
Same. Yeah.
Recharging the batteries is like a necessary thing, right?
Oh yeah, totally. But I'm feeling a little rusty. Like the brain's a little slow.
Oh no, that means you've truly checked out.
Is that it?
I hope. I don't think the brain is slow. I just say the brain has finally said enough of that work stuff.
Yeah, like this is the right pace.
This is the right pace. This is actually when you are supposed to check out. And, it's really hard to check out nowadays, right? Mm-hmm. Because what I do, and I don't recommend this for anybody out there, is I never shut my email down.
Oh.
I never put the email. You know how people put the email out and they're like, I'm out of here for the next so many days and da-da-da-da. No, I don't. Because you know what? I'd rather answer them and not come back to like, the world is burning than to shut off the world and then I come back and it's like,
it just
boom,
hits you.
Yeah. It's just very much like a slap in the face. Ooh, just like that. So yeah. I don't want any slaps in the face with a bunch of emails. So that's kind of like, I just go ahead and handle it.
So you don't have like an automatic response when you're out?
No.
No?
Well, I mean, I have one because, we use Microsoft Office like the rest of the world, but I refuse to put it on because I'm just like, I'd rather just do it because usually I'm not getting so many emails in during that time because I tend to take breaks when everyone takes breaks.
True. Yeah.
So those one or two emails that filter in, I don't mind just going ahead and it's like one or two emails a day. I just go ahead and answer those and then they're not sitting there lingering.
True. Yeah. I like that. I took the approach this time of deleting my mail app from my phone. Like, don't even look at it.
Bruh. Seriously? You deleted your mail app? It. Like, just full-fledged?
I did, yeah.
How's that working?
Not great.
Does it give you anxiety?
Yes. Yeah, it took me a couple days to, like, not just compulsively check it.
Yeah.
It's rough. Ugh.
Yeah. You're bold. I admire you. That's some different type of stuff. I can't do it.
Yeah, I understand. I might have to go back and forth, different techniques.
Different techniques. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
So, Lynnsey, can you please share a little something about yourself and what is your connection to the Kosh?
Yeah. So thanks for having me on. So my connection to the Kosh, I am currently serving my first term on the Oshkosh City Council.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was elected in April of 2020, right as things were kind of getting serious with COVID. But I've been in Oshkosh. I came in 2014 for work. I did AmeriCorps, which I think you also have a connection to.
Yes, I did do AmeriCorps. I did Lighted. I believe it was Lighted. I want to say Lighted Street House, but I know that's not a
schoolhouse.
Lighted Schoolhouse. I did Lighted Schoolhouse. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I did AmeriCorps. It's a state program through Wisconsin Health Corps. So I did that for 2 years right after college at the Winnebago County Health Department, which I'm still currently employed at. Oh. So I've been there, just finished how long have I been there? 7 years. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. So I came for AmeriCorps, and, that program, I worked mostly, my background in college was psychology and gender and women's studies. So in AmeriCorps, I worked in the high schools doing a program called the Wellness Screen. So it's a mental health screening for students and just kind of a checkup, how they're doing with stress and sleep, and if they're experiencing anything around anxiety or depression, and then really just like having conversations with them of how they're doing and how we can help get them connected to help. So that was the majority of my work with AmeriCorps, doing some substance use prevention work and working with youth. And after 2 years, I took a position working on substance use prevention, and now I work on transportation and housing access.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now that's pretty important stuff right there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, that goes hand in hand. People, you need a way to get around in case you don't have vehicles. And even if you got a vehicle, you still need the good ways for things to flow. Yeah. And we all need a place to stay.
Yeah. We all need shelter and a place where we can call home and be ourselves. And, I think reflecting back on how I got into this kind of work, I think, I grew up kind of in a more rural area in New London, not too far from here, but that's where my parents are still at. And just thinking about, growing up kind of working class, we experienced a lot of, car problems and difficulties having to commute to get to work or school, and living in a rural area without any kind of public transit. If you didn't have a car, you had to walk or bike or figure out, how to share a car or something. So, and then, some close family members who have experienced homelessness and substance use and all of the things that can really impact a person's life and their ability to be in a community and feel like they belong. So that's how that passion grew, and I really want to kind of focus on those issues and figure out how can we help everyone thrive in a community.
So you went down this road because it was super close to home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think at first I didn't want to admit it. But, you kind of realize how the experiences that you've had growing up shape your perspectives and shape how you think about problems. And it really led me into how do we fix this at a broader level, working on policy change and systems change so that we can help more people.
I think that's the secret that a lot of people don't understand is like where the things really get done is at that policy level. Mm-hmm. Like creating that, getting involved in like local government and stuff, and creating policy and programming to truly make life better. Because I mean that is the purpose and point of local government. Mm-hmm. It is exactly. Truly. It is not like federal government. It is local government. It's truly about those people living locally.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And the personal is political, and it's all about, everything's tied back to policy or a decision that got made by a group of people or one person. And so it's, I want to shape who's involved in making those decisions, whose voices are at the table, what information do we have when we're making those decisions. And, it's a long process, but we've got to make sure that people feel involved, are involved, and are heard in the process.
Do you feel, because because you said we're on year 2 in city council, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel you've had that opportunity with our local government and being one of our representatives on our city council?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress. When I first got elected, and the reason that I ran was really because I saw how important it was for anyone, everyday people, to be involved and feel like they can come to city council meetings or email us as city council members, call us up, and just talk about their experiences and see how that can shape how we make decisions. And so that's been my goal, and I'm hoping that I've done it well, is, I show up and I listen. I'm not up there to just kind of, talk everyone's ear off and talk about what I know. I'm there to learn from people about what they're going through and how we can change things.
Well, that's where it really starts, right? Because it's a representative position, and being a true representative. And I worry about this at times, of people, of the people who are representing the people having their own agendas and not listening, or that whoever their surrounding circle is so exclusive that they're missing a lot of voices.
Yeah.
And that worries me, because there's a lot of voices out there, and there's a lot of diversity in how the world is seen, or what needs are. And when that, I'm always like, who's out there representing things that I think are important?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, we, in Oshkosh City Council, there's 7 of us, including a mayor. And, I think that's what's important about representation. You can't expect one person to be able to represent or have the same experiences as everyone in the city.
Correct.
But hopefully we have enough representation where we all can we have these different pockets that we are a part of and we have experienced and have perspective on, that when we come together, we can really represent the entire city.
I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, and big fat shout out to Mayor Palmieri, girl. Yes. All right. If you haven't listened to that episode of the Kosh with the mayor on, please do. It is, she's on fire. All right. You ready to jump into the first segment?
Let's do it.
All right. First segment, what in the world is going on with? This is your opportunity. Start with that statement, what in the world is going on with? And you tell us what's going on. What's on your mind?
Oh, boy. Okay. So the thing that's been on my mind this week personally, so what's going on with how expensive car repairs are and the cost it takes to maintain having your own access to transportation.
Bruh. Seriously, that is a fact. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. That is a fact for many of you, but I've got this mechanic who is like the bomb, diggity bomb. And you know what? I want to send a shout out to the business, but you know what? I don't want y'all taking up my spot. So I don't know if I'm going to share, because I do. But no, you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to go ahead and share this with Kosh listeners, because we know here at the Kosh, if you don't know about Mark's Tire and Auto in Nemakai Road.
I need to write this down.
That's right. Mark's Tire and Auto. Mark has been servicing our vehicles. As a matter of fact, I don't even talk to Mark. My wife handles our car stuff, which tells you everything. Mark is not only, he is an amazing gentleman, he is about as honest gets, and Mark keeps it 100. And I've been going to Mark's, we have been going to Mark's for, I think, for like 15 years or so. But like, this dude is the dude of dudes. So like, if you don't know about Mark's Tire and Auto in Nemakai, I'm giving y'all a secret. Don't be hogging up my spot with my mechanic, y'all. I'm just telling y'all now. Bruh. Seriously.
It's some good insider info.
It is good. And because he's affordable. And you know what Mark also does? Mark tells you the truth. So if it's something that is like, yeah, that really doesn't need to get fixed right now, we're going to do this, that, and another, he will tell you exactly that. And then he will handle what needs to be handled and then give you an opportunity to make decisions about other things later. but I swear by Mark's Tire and Auto.
Nice.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm sorry. Go on. So what else is going on? Why car repairs?
So I've had this car actually, when I was in AmeriCorps, you make very little money, if at all.
Facts.
So I bought this car. So I've had it 7 years. And I feel like the repairs have been, increasing a bit. Just replaced, I know some car things from having to deal with all this stuff, but, like a catalytic converter.
Yeah.
What did I just have done? The mass airflow sensor. That was the latest thing. Yeah. So driving home after being at my parents for Christmas, drove all the way to Oshkosh, and my car was acting kind of funny. The RPM thing was going up and down. Felt like it was going to die on me. Parked it, and then just out of curiosity tried to turn it on again. Nothing.
Bruh.
So got it towed, all the things, kind of a hefty car repair bill. But the people I do go to, I do like them. They explain it. And like you said, if it's not necessary, they'll give me the option to not, do it. But still, man, cars are expensive. So now it's like, is it costing too much in repairs that I should just kind of
get a car?
Move on.
Yeah. I don't know. How old is the car?
It's a 2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah. So it's hitting the 2-year mark. I'm at 140,000 miles.
And it's a what kind of car?
A Nissan.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to put this out there to the Kosh listeners. Hey, Kosh listeners, please, what do you think? Is it time for Lynnsey to get a new car? Please email us at askthekosh@gmail.com. I'm going to actually, please do, because I'm going to totally share whatever the feedback is with Lynnsey.
I need help.
Yeah, I'm feeling you. Okay, so if you were going to get a new car, what would you get?
Well, okay, so I'm going to totally lean into the stereotype, but I love Subarus.
Ooh.
I want a big dog in the back with some national park stickers on the back. Subaru.
You really did go for the stereotype.
Yep. Mm-hmm. With a kayak on the top. That's it.
That's it.
Bruh.
I almost bought one.
Oh. What held you back?
Because they are, and first of all, so Kosh listeners, if you didn't know, I bought a car during this time when I got the new job, right? So I started having to go back and forth to Appleton. I needed a new vehicle, so I was like, all right, let me go get this car. And I was so hung up, I was gonna get a sports truck. I love those Subaru sport trucks, right? And I was like, all right, gotta get one, right? But I was also at the height of the pricey used car deal. And I was like, so I found one, and here's what my choice was. My choice was to either buy this Subaru that had about 80 to 90,000 miles. It was a beautiful sports truck, and they had some pretty good extra options that they added on to it, prior owners, right? Because I'm buying used. I'm definitely not buying new. Or I could buy a Mazda CX-3 with literally 50,000 to 60,000 less miles and more bells and whistles. And I'm not going to lie. And here's the thing. I actually went so far as to put the deposit down on the Subaru, and I was driving off the lot, and it was a day or two before I was actually going to take the Subaru, and I found, and I drove past the Mazda, and I was like, let me see how much this is. And I saw it, and it was literally, I think it was a couple of thousand less or 1,000 less. And with all those less miles, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm finna get this Mazda. And I mean, if you really do the research on Mazdas, their reliability is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're up there. They're not. It's not not necessarily Toyota or Honda, but they're not far behind. Those things run forever. So I was like, I'm gonna run with a Mazda.
Yeah. Okay. I might have to look that up now.
I'm gonna hook you up.
Yeah.
See, Kosh listeners, if you didn't know, not only are we entertaining, we are informative. We got good info here at the Kosh.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
I just need like good, reliable recommendations.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Hey, matter of fact, and Kosh listeners out there, don't hesitate. Send in those emails. And we are going to help Lynnsey with the car situation. All right.
Perfect.
And if there's any other mechanics out there, even nobody's going to match Mark. I'm just going to say right now. Yeah. All right. What in the world is going on with poop-filled yards? I'm not even lying about this. So there is, first of all, Bosco, the podcast dog. That is what we're going to call him, or Naughty Bosco. That is also the other name for him in our household. Bosco, when I take him for a walk every day, there is one yard that they got two dogs, not big dogs, small dogs, like a little smaller than Bosco even, and they don't pick up their poop. It's just a yard full of poop. And I'm not talking about the backyard because I'm not walking in the backyard. I'm talking about the front yard and the terrace area. And there's just poop everywhere, right? And you know what makes it even worse? What makes it even worse is, like, if Bosco tries to go poop in that area, then I've got to try to maneuver through their poop-filled yard to pick up his poop, even though they got a ton of poop already there.
Minefield.
It's a minefield. And it makes me feel some kind of way. Like, I understand that your personal property is your personal property, but come on now. You can't just pick up the poops, especially if you got two little ones.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that big, right?
No. I mean, couple, get your plastic bag game on. A couple grabs.
Yeah. I mean, in the spring, when all the snow melts, that's going to be...
Well, this is the bad part is this. This was from the summer. So the poop's there, right? And there's minefields everywhere. And I don't think they've picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that a new, like, fertilizer thing they're going for?
Well, I will say this. They are newer to the neighborhood. They moved in this summer. And they're very nice people. Like them.
Yeah.
They always say hi to Bosco and myself and the wife when we walk by, but their yard is a minefield, and I'm just like, good God, don't do that to us, because if Bosco decides he's gonna drop a mine, then I got to maneuver through your mines,
right? And then if you step in it, that's not good.
It's just not good.
No,
right? And even though, and to be honest, Bosco doesn't usually poop there, but he has once or twice. And then I want to be respectful and follow the rules and pick up the poop. But I'm looking at the other 42 pieces of poop that's sitting out there on the front yard, and I'm just like, good God.
Yeah, that's a whole situation.
What in the world is going on with? Okay. Lynnsey, you didn't think you were going to have to talk about dog poop today.
know. How did I get stuck with the episode about poop?
Well,
I mean, I do love dogs.
Well,
and, I mean,
it's part of the game.
I have wondered, like, what do dogs think as we're picking up their poop? Like, do they process what's going on?
They're probably saying, good job, human.
Yeah.
Good job, human.
That's what I thought.
Bruh.
All right. We're on to the next segment. Next segment is word association. This is where I'm going to say a word and you tell me what comes to mind. Food.
So I recently just bought a Dutch oven. Like a kind of nice, like, what do they call it? Enameled cast iron Dutch oven kind of thing.
Okay.
And I made some bread for the first time, like homemade bread.
Oh.
So my place smelled amazing.
Okay. What kind of bread was it? Just bread.
Like straight, I wanted to just test it out. So it was like a no-knead plain white bread, but maybe kind of sourdough, like yeasty bread.
Okay.
So, but tonight I'm making a beef stew in it. So pretty excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dutch oven. Like
yeah. It's kind of old school, right?
I've never really understood what they're used for. I know what it is, but I never understood totally 100% what people use them for.
Yeah. I'm still learning. I not totally sure either. It sounds like there's a lot of like stews. Like if you want to roast a meat and keep it very, I hate the word moist, then that's great.
Do you hate the word moist?
I don't know. Some people do, yeah.
Some people feel some kind of way about that word, but you know what? I don't know why, but you know what? If we're talking about beef stew, I think it's fair. It's fair game.
The word.
Yeah, I think it's fair game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and since you brought it up, and now that I know you want to test out this Dutch oven, I just want you to know that I am a beef stew connoisseur.
Oh, really?
So if you just actually want to
drop some off.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm not above it, and I would like to share with the Kosh listeners about Lynnsey's beef stew.
I mean, I might have to, test out some recipes, like get it down.
I'll give you time.
Okay. Yeah. I did get some good meat, though. Wasita meats.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Kind of bougie meat, yeah.
Well, if you're going to do it, do the things.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
I want good stew. It's good stuff.
Okay. Cocktail or beer?
So I don't drink, but I'm totally good with people who do safely, But I did bring my mug of chai here, so I'm a chai and hot chocolate connoisseur.
Oh,
so I don't know if there's any cocktails that involve that kind of stuff.
Well, no, we can skip the cocktail and let's talk about this favorite drink of chai.
Yeah.
And hot cocoa. How do we? What does it look like if you're truly doing it the way that you like it done?
I have strong feelings about this.
Bruh.
Especially hot cocoa. So it's got to be made with milk, or if you're, can't do lactose, a good oat milk for sure. And then, so I'm going to get a little frou-frou here. I do get this. It's like they're like, what do they call them? Little like nuggets of chocolate.
Oh.
From this place in Madison.
Oh.
Pretty good chocolate.
Are you importing your chocolate?
I am.
Oh my God.
I literally will go down to Madison, say I have another meeting and just kind of stop on by and get some hot chocolate.
Okay.
So it's my one joy in life.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's got to be, like real good chocolate. I won't turn my nose up to like just good old Swiss Miss. I mean, at a, ice rink or something with just a styrofoam cup of hot chocolate. That's a good time.
That's a good, you know what that is? That is childhood nostalgia at its best.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hot cocoa, chai tea.
Mm-hmm.
Any other teas? Because I'm big on tea.
Oh.
I drink a lot of tea.
I want to like tea, like all teas. It's still kind of tastes like just brown water to me sometimes. So
you're not doing any of the good fruity tea then?
No, I like chamomile tea.
Oh, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Streaming.
So I've been into I have a lot of comfort TV shows right now that I just kind of keep rewatching because I just can't handle anything new right now.
You know what? I've never heard that term, comfort TV. That you need to there.
That's it.
That's it. That's big.
The term.
That's a term.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I just got to keep rewatching these things because I know exactly what's going to happen. No surprises. So currently on my however many rewatches of Ted Lasso, Apple TV.
Okay.
Highly recommend it. I've got a few people hooked on it, so it's just a good show. It's about like British football or soccer, but it's not so much about the sport, but like how groups of people come together and like, be the best versions of themselves and get some mental health stuff in there. So it's good.
I keep hearing Ted Lasso. I've never seen an episode.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like the right amount of like humor with just good life stuff. Humans.
I like that.
Yeah. And then the other show, I don't know if I can say it. Can I swear on this?
Hey, yes, I'll put a.
Well, it's a name of the show, but Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I don't think that's swearing.
Yeah, it's
not
the
way
name of
they
a
spell
town,
it.
right? It's the name of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the other one. Just it just makes me happy.
Okay, I like that. All right, fantastic. That's another one. I've heard good things about it, but I've never seen an episode. But I'm feeling you on this. Now you've got me very much thinking about this term comfort. Comfort TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a real thing.
It is a real thing. You know what mine is?
What?
Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those Christmas movies, I don't care. You can judge me if you want, podcast listeners, but I'm telling you right now, there's nothing better than a great Hallmark Christmas movie to brighten the day and to make you happy.
Yeah. It's just, like the same, not the same, but it's expectable. Like, what's going to probably happen.
Yeah, usually.
They go back to their hometown and their ex from high school opened up a bakery and that's what happens. Right?
Oh my God. That's like
that
literally the one that I watched before you came here. No,
I actually have not seen many of them. So I need some of those recommendations.
I can hook you up with that.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Yeah. Oh, Parks and Rec too.
Oh,
it's a comfort TV show.
My daughter loves that. That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who works in local government, it explains it pretty well.
As somebody who has started working in local government also, there's some truths in there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
They got it pretty close.
Yeah, there's some truths in there. They're not far off.
Nope.
All right. Okay. Shop local.
So I think you've had a few people on this podcast talk about the Oshkosh Food Co-op.
Absolutely. Yes, and we've had and multiple people who've been on the board. Yeah. Nice. That the food co-op is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think shout out to like the people who work there are just amazing.
Yes.
Like Maddie and North and Brandon at the front, the checkout, like they just remember who you are. At this point, well, I go in like a few times a week and they just remember my name now. I don't even have to like say my number anymore.
Oh, they just know.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's Lynnsey again. Buying her bougie hot chocolate and oat milk.
Oh, wow. That's not the worst things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I do also like Kits and File. So I live pretty close to there, and one of my favorite pastimes is just kind of walking up and down the aisles of Kits and File, just like finding random stuff. I love like the smell of a hardware store.
I for whatever reason I get that.
Yeah.
At least, and particularly Kits and File.
Yeah.
I had a prior guest that we had just had this conversation about Kits and File, and my thing is about Kits and File is this. I love that you can ask. There's always those two dudes in there, one or two of them, and you can ask them anything, and they know where it's at in Kits and File. Yep. Like you could be like, I need this screw where the threads go backwards, and it's black, and it's 3 inches long, and they'll be like, oh yeah, it's in this aisle. Let me walk you over here. Yeah. And I'm just like, how do you know this?
I know. Like of all the things that they have in that store, and they just know exactly what you're talking about. It's amazing.
It is amazing. Shout out to Kits and File. All right. And for the food co-op, shout out to Doug and Miranda back there making that food all yummy and things.
So good. I had some quesadillas last week, I think, from there. Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say that I get to go in there enough, but I really, really like the establishment. Super good.
Yeah.
Local government.
To me, I think the beauty of local government is how local it is. People can directly impact what happens in their community. And it's, I think the easiest way for people to get involved in their community and for people, those of us who are on city council or on boards and commissions, like we're neighbors in the community. We're the people down your street, we're friends, we're family. So if it's, any issue from streets, which we hear a lot about in Oshkosh, or, access to parks, or, being able to go to the library, access to transit, that's how people can make really direct change. Like, all you have to do is, find somebody on city council or on a board or commission or city staff and just have a conversation. I think other levels of government, it's not necessarily as accessible. So to me, local government, it's about community and engaging and listening to what's going on in your community.
I like that. I think one of the most important things that people need to know is it's not necessarily just about the council. Like, those boards and commissions, those are, and are those appointed here?
So you can apply to be on a board or commission,
right.
And then the mayor receives all those applications, and then she will recommend people to certain boards and commissions, and then council approves
votes.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know it's different in different places. So those boards and commissions, those are great opportunities also to really make change, because they're the ones that often make the recommendation to council about the changes locally. And, get involved and check it out. Is there, I don't expect you to just know this off the top of your head, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Is there a centralized place where you can find out which positions are available on those boards and commissions?
Yeah. So if you go to the city's website under the government tab, there's a boards and commissions link.
Okay.
You can go right on there. It lists all the different boards and commissions, who's on it. And then I think there's up at the top, there's a link that you can apply online or see which boards have vacancies. And then that's how you can apply. And I think even if there's a board that you're really interested in, say, we have a sustainability advisory board, if you're really wanting to be on that, but it looks like it's full, you can still apply. And then when there is a vacancy,
right,
they'll have your application.
Right. People drop off of those things all the time. Life happens. All right.
Yeah. Nice.
Resolutions.
I'm not a huge New Year's resolutions person.
Nope.
Tried it, didn't really, didn't work.
Bruh.
I mean, as we all do, I think, I'm going to go to the gym more often. I'm going to read a book every month or something,
Right.
So I'm more for intentions, maybe. Maybe it's a little softer, but just, reflecting on the last year and kind of what do you want to bring into the next year, and, how do you want to live your life?
Okay.
Yeah.
Have we made any?
I think, coming into this next year, so obviously, I'm running for re-election. I'm finishing up grad school. Fingers crossed.
I did not know about this grad school. Wait, we got to come back and talk about that. But
we'll circle back.
We'll circle back.
So there's some stuff going on. So I think I'm really focusing on what I can do and how I show up to things.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, since we've before we jump into the next thing, let's circle back to the grad school.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So I'm in will be in my last semester of Master's in Public Administration. So I think you had Stephanie Gildenvan on earlier. She just finished.
She just graduated.
Kudos to her.
Kudos.
I see her celebrating, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm almost there.
It's a great program.
It is.
Yeah, it's a fantastic program. I've known quite a number of people who have gone through it. It is a solid program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just, I compared a few different programs when I was deciding should I go back, and I really like how this program is really focused on, local government or kind of smaller units of government and community engagement and incorporating equity into government practices and nonprofit. So it's been good.
Shout out to UWO once again doing an amazing job out here, educating our residents and our citizenry around here. All right, ready for the next seg?
Yes.
The Oshkosh Hidden Gems. This is your opportunity to share something around Oshkosh that you think is special, that people may or may not know about, or maybe they just don't know how good it is.
So I would say I have a few, but I've been really loving the Riverwalk.
Ooh, yes.
So I try, one of my intentions for the next year is to be better about walking every morning along the Riverwalk. I live pretty close. And it's just cool to see how it changes, throughout the year. Like the river's been kind of frozen a little bit off and on, and there's still some birds out there. And it's just, I think it's a big asset that we have.
I agree. That Riverwalk is amazing. And since they've developed it, I mean, it's just really, really amazing now. And I mean, there's a good stretch you can walk.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite part is kind of on the south side of the river. There's the old railroad bridge, the kind of newer part of the Riverwalk. So, and there's some big cottonwood trees in the summer. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I like it. So,
Okay.
my other one is out by Asylum Point. There's a little trail back there that there's some big oak trees, I think, that sometimes I'll bring my hammock out there and a good book and just like string up my hammock and be right next to the water.
It's a mental health time.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Asylum. That is one of the secret fishing holes.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I'm not much of a fisher, but
we got to work on that.
I know.
Yeah, we're
add
gonna
it
work
to my
on,
list.
Yeah, we'll add it to the list. As you can tell, Lynnsey has come in, and we are going to hook her up with all sorts of things. By the time she leaves, she will have a great mechanic or a new car, and all sorts of other things that we have spoken about today.
New hobby. It's
New
all good.
hobby, yes. What's the Oshkosh need?
Yeah. So one of the areas that I focus on is affordable housing. So I think we've been hearing about this more and more, especially this last year with COVID. As a renter myself, over the last few years that I've lived here, 5 years, I've seen how my own rent has increased around 20% over the last 5 years.
Bruh.
So, and we've seen that across the board, and the city's coming out with a housing study early January. There's going to be some public presentations about it that have kind of bringing together data about what can we do, what do we need about housing in Oshkosh. And I think what we're finding is really for those who are kind of in that very low income bracket, there's not enough housing. And we've known this, and we've heard stories and experiences from people, but I think it's time that we actually do something about it. I think we've done a lot to build more rental housing. A lot of those units have been kind of more unaffordable or on the higher price range of things.
Yeah, they're super, they're pricey. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, it's cheaper. I look at some of that, and I'm like, oh my God, the amount of that. And I'm going to assume that people don't buy houses because they might not have the down payment to buy the house, because the housing payment would be, a mortgage would be cheaper than these rental payments.
And that's the boat that I'm in. It's like, we're kind of forced to, everybody needs housing. We all need shelter.
Correct.
And so, when you're kind of just starting out in your career, trying to find a place to live, you find a rental, and you call it your home, hopefully, right? These are people's homes, and we end up having to pay more and more. And I get the market that we're in, and that landlords are also trying to survive in all of this.
Absolutely.
And it's tough when also, at some point it would be great to own my own home. but it's tough to keep up when you're trying to pay rent and, work full time and pay for grad school and pay off student loans. And then also try to figure out how do I start saving for a down payment along with car repairs and everything else.
Oh my God.
Bruh.
That struggle is so real. Everything you just mentioned, that's a lot. That's a chunk of change.
Yeah. And that's reality for people. And, I think we've seen with COVID, so there's been rental assistance for folks who've been behind on rent or, lost their job because of COVID. And we just got the numbers from Advocap, and it was just around like $4 million have been given out in Winnebago County to renters for past due or currently due rent. And I think the average amount that a household is receiving is around just under $4,000. So it's a significant amount of money that people have been behind, and this money goes directly to their landlord to try to get them back up to not having to owe rent. But it's a huge issue. People are struggling, and I think we really need to focus some energy and some dollars on building more housing on all ends of the spectrum, very low income to higher income, and making sure that we have enough housing to meet the needs of people who live here.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, and that is so true. And I only know some of this just because I peek out there every once in a while, and and I look at what rentals go for, and I'm just like, I got a daughter who's going to be moving out, soon, and I'm just like, good God, I don't even know how you balanced all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and thinking back in college, I lived in a three-bedroom apartment with 6 other people, and still was paying, I think, around like $500 a month per person.
Oh, well, campus housing, there's a little.
That's a whole.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not even going to go down that road. All right. Yeah. Affordable. Well, agreed. The Kosh needs more options for housing, particularly literally affordable housing. Mm-hmm. Like me personally, I feel like we've got plenty of options for what I would say is, I don't know even a good term to call it. Let's just say regular housing pricing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it should be a third of your income goes towards housing. Yeah. So when rents and housing costs keep going up, but wages aren't keeping up with that.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of these rentals, and like for some people that's half. Yeah. If not more than half, actually.
Mm-hmm. And especially if they have a large family, or, somebody who might have mobility needs that they need an accessible unit. It's tough. Yeah.
Okay. The next segment is the Naughty/Heroes Corner. This is your opportunity to nominate whatever you want to nominate. It could be a person, a thing, organization, to either the Naughty or the Heroes Corner. So what do you have?
I will say I'm going to go with the Heroes Corner. So I just turned in my nomination signatures for running for city council. That's to actually get on the ballot.
Nice. How many did you have to get?
You have to give at least 100.
Okay. So is that 100 for new people, or is that just 100 for because you are an incumbent?
It's for anybody. So if you want to be on the ballot, whether you're an incumbent or not, you have to get at least 100. Okay. So I want to give a kudos, huge thank you to people who get involved in local elections. I had a few people help out with collecting signatures with me, and just people who can have conversations with their neighbors about, letting them know when the election is, who's running, what issues are kind of most important, and just like listening, kind of what's going on, getting a pulse of what do people care about, what are they concerned about, what do they love about living in Oshkosh, what do they wish they could change. So just, the people who get involved, talk to their neighbors, and really work to make some changes in the city.
Okay. I like that.
Thanks.
All right. I normally don't do a naughty/heroes corner, but I'm going to do one today. And there's a special reason why. I'd like to, for the heroes corner, I'd like to recognize particularly the school board for the naming of the new school to Val Phillips. That's kind of a big deal. That's a really big deal here in Oshkosh to have one of our educational institutions for our children to be named after an amazing person of color from Wisconsin, and for our school board. Special shout out there to Chris Carnes for making that happen. It gives me chills. And, I've lived here in the Kosh for 30 years and from where we've come to today.
Yeah.
It makes me smile. It makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, talk about representation. And I think she was one of the first woman city council member in Milwaukee, I think. And it's just, I think it's really amazing. And for kids to be able to learn about who she was and have that representation. It's awesome.
Yes, no doubt. Once again, Kosh listeners, as you can tell, it is Bosco, the podcast dog, doing Bosco things. Yes, and by now everybody knows. Just so you know that in the future we are going to have a segment dedicated to Bosco, the podcast dog, because I'm not going to lie, he does something naughty almost every day. And half of it is totally hilarious. And so I think we're going to start posting some content and talking about Bosco, the podcast dog.
Yeah, he just wants his voice heard.
He you know what? If anybody, he's been on more episodes than anyone.
He's like your sidekick.
He's Bosco. He's special. All right. Well, now it's time to get down to the real deal. It is topic of the week time. So, just so I remind Kosh listeners, the topic of the week is chosen by the guest, and this week's topic of the week is housing and homelessness, which I think that's right on par, right? We're segmenting right over into it.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. All right.
Yeah. So this has been a topic, we've talked about it a little bit already, but I think at the city level, homelessness has been kind of a priority. It's one of the goals that we set up for our city manager this past year, and will continue into 2022. And if you've been kind of following what's been going on within the city, we've seen an increase of homelessness within the city and, across the nation with COVID. A lot of people who, experienced job loss or unexpected medical bills or just things that have happened over the last 2 years are now finding themselves potentially without shelter. Day by day warming shelter, they've been at capacity. They have a capacity of around 25, and they've had to turn away people almost every night since they've been open this season in October 15th. So it's real, and it's people, it's our neighbors, it's our friends, family. And so, with Day by Day here, we have Father Carr's shelter and Christine Ann domestic abuse. Day by Day is looking at potentially building a new facility that would expand how many people they can serve to, 50 to 60 people. So they've been going through the process with the city to do that. and I think kind of being part of those conversations, I think it's been really encouraging to see how many people have been supportive of day by day, and doing the work that they're doing. They've helped a lot of people, and we're also seeing some of the the NIMBYism of people who have been a bit resistant to that with the location that they're going into. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up, and I think it's for me, it's been really helpful to get to know people and actually listen to people who are experiencing homelessness or who have gone without shelter. Like I said before, I've had a close family member go through that, and it's one thing to make assumptions about people who go through this, but it's another to actually get to know them and listen to what they've gone through.
Agreed. Recently, I've had the opportunity in my new position to be part of the point in contact count, and to go out and to actually meet our homeless. And what I can say is this, they're good people, just good people and tough circumstance. And I got an opportunity to have like good quality conversation. And I got an opportunity to remember, which I am not one that tends to forget. If anything, I try to remind other people that these are humans, and there's humanity there. And when you see them, smile, look them in the eye, talk to them, treat them not like they're invisible, but treat them as if they matter, because they do, because they're humans and they're good people. Yeah. We all have tough times, and some of us are able to have resources or people with resources that are able to help us. And not everybody has those cushions or those parachutes to get us there. And so in the point of contact, and the point of contact count is a count that everyone across the state, I don't know if it's state or nation, but
it's nation. Yeah.
It might be the nation. And there's one night where every city goes out and they go to find and take a count of their homeless, and also offer them resources and things, and try to interview them and actually get a record for them, and then connect them with resources to help them. And I went, and it was the night of a major storm. It was like this crazy storm that was rolling in. And so we were in the parking ramps, and we found 35 people, 35, 36 people. And I had these conversations, and it changed it didn't change my view, but it changed my heart. And what I mean by that is, like, it was the ultimate reminder that these are people. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are the people we share a community with, and they matter. And we need to, there's no reason we can't find some resources to help.
Yep, exactly.
So
everybody deserves a place to call home and shelter, and to feel that they belong in a community.
Yes. That is so true.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I've worked a little bit with some of the people who work at Day by Day, and, talking with the people who stay there. It's true. They're people. They've gone through tough circumstances, trying to dig themselves out of the hole. And, I think it's time for us to recognize that it's our responsibility as a city to take that seriously, to listen to them and provide them a place to go, a place that they can be and feel comfortable and safe, and have access to resources and services, and not have to be, out in the open, in the middle of storms and bad weather. So I'm excited to see, where things go and be a part of the decisions that get made with day by day. And I'm glad to see more people talking about this and more people considering and listening to people who've gone through this and hearing their stories.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than many people think. What I've learned, and I'm part of I'm in a group right now whose focus is on young homelessness, youth homelessness, 18 through 24. And there's just things you just don't even think about, like the fact of like when you don't have a place to store your stuff. So people have been kind and may have given them really nice things, but every time they find a place to stay and then they've got to rush out or they get kicked out, they lose all that stuff. So then they're starting over from zero again. Mm-hmm. Or their paperwork. Mm-hmm. I've talked to homeless people who because they don't have a stable place, they lose things like their birth certificate or their identification or ways to identify themselves. And then what do you do when you can't identify yourself? Mm-hmm. That makes for a really hard way to get a job. Mm-hmm. Can't get a job without ID nowadays, right. Ever. Mm-hmm. Right?
Let alone like an address. So,
or anything, right?
Yeah.
And so there's definitely things that, and my other thing is technology. Mm-hmm. This is something I talked to our homeless group about, was you can't apply for a lot of jobs paper anymore. Mm-hmm. Everything is tech. So if you don't have access to the technology, and that's just the truth right now, like there's so many places, just your regular jobs like a pick and save or whatever, you have to apply online. And if you don't have online access, let's say, I don't know about you, but I really wouldn't want to try to complete an application on a phone because I can't see the print because I'm blind, or other things, just things of that sort. Other places that only have electronic application, like that, just makes for a tough circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's why places like our public library, that's so important. That's where people go to be able to get access to the internet or use computers or printers or, whatever they might need, and have people there who can help walk them through those steps too.
And what happens when they close that, mm-hmm. like for COVID?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what we saw. Where do people go?
Right. So I love this topic. It's such a good topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's complicated.
It is complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't assume. What I hate is the assumption. Like, there was homeless people that I was talking to who had jobs. Mm-hmm. They had jobs. They're still homeless.
Yep.
Because they were doing the best they could, but they still couldn't build up enough money to actually afford an apartment. Mm-hmm. Because, first month's rent and rent itself,
Yeah. Some places are requiring, 4 months of rent up front.
And if that rent's $1,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's no joke.
Yep. Yeah. It's tough.
All right. Anything else you would like to say about that?
Yeah. I think if people, I want to hear from people too. So, if people have thoughts on what we need in Oshkosh related to housing. I think I've been working with a group called Esther. They're a social justice community organizing group, faith-based.
Ooh, Esther goes hard.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play.
They are awesome. So we're working with them on collecting some stories, hopefully in the next few months, of people who've been experiencing housing insecurity and homelessness. And so we really want to dig into what's going on in Oshkosh and what are some of those policy solutions that we can really work on. How can we focus? Where should we focus funding and make better decisions to improve access to housing?
All right. How would you like people to reach out to you?
So I'm happy to talk over the phone. They can find all my contact info on the city's website.
Okay.
On the city council page.
We'll put it in the podcast notes also.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always happy to have a conversation or meet up for coffee or, go for a walk or email, whatever people want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Nice.
All right. Well, it's that time where we start winding down the show.
It went by so quick.
Well, believe it or not, it was not quick. We covered a lot of amazing things, though.
We did.
Yeah, we did. And so, once again, Kosh listeners out there, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us, taking the time to listen and connecting. We appreciate it more than you know. We are a work in progress. I say this all the time. We are a work in progress. We are constantly trying to improve just for the sake of improving. I just want to do an amazing job on behalf of our Kosh listeners. So please, if you have listened to this episode and something struck you, you've got something to say, you want to share, maybe you want to be a guest, maybe you got something you would like to share, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. We are, and people who know, I answer all emails personally, and if you email me to get in contact with one of our guests, I am more than happy to share whatever you want to share, because they love the feedback also. What do you think?
Yes.
Bruh.
Fair. All right. Oh, so, you know what time it is?
No.
It's my favorite time of the show. It is shout out time. All right. So, Lynnsey, what do you got for the shout outs?
I think, sticking with the theme we've had today, I think just reflecting and recognizing the people who've been experiencing some tough times over this last year, especially during the holidays. So just a shout out to people, trying to make it by and, maybe struggling throughout the holidays, just wanting to let people know that you're seen and heard. And I think I'm here to listen. So want to shout out to people who are trying to find community in Oshkosh. We're trying to build that. So
facts. I love that.
Thanks.
All right. My shout outs, let me give some special shout outs. I want to give a special shout out to the mayor of Appleton, my boss, because he's boss. That is just the way that is. I just want to make sure I put that out there. And also to I know this is the Kosh, but I'm also going to send a shout out to the City of Appleton team of people. All 644 y'all special, y'all awesome, y'all are amazing, y'all make things work. I can't stress that enough. I am so proud and privileged to be part of that special team in so many ways. And I'm not just saying that to say that. Like they're amazing.
Yeah, people who work for the city are awesome.
Yeah, they are. No doubt. Shout out to Harold Carpenter, who just put in my garage door and did an excellent job. And the young man who put in my garage door, big shout out to you, big fella, because, man, I say big fella because my man was like 6'3", 4", something like that. He made me feel short. I'm good with that, though. I really don't have a complex. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he was just awesome. He was just awesome and super friendly and made sure that he explained everything and hooked up all our needs. So if y'all out there looking for garage doors and whatnots, Harold Carpenter, good service.
Yeah. We're just full of recommendations today.
You know what?
Good stuff.
Well, it's the Kosh. Like, I just try to hook us up. It's regional. We need to know who does good work and whatnot. And, and part of the change that we're going to start making in the new year, I hope, is we're gonna get some sponsors. And I don't mean sponsors for the sake of money. I mean just because I want to make a better podcast. And they say you should have like a break every 30 minutes, and we just roll.
Yeah.
Right, we just roll. So I'm gonna get some breaks, and I'm going to actually, if you're a business out there and you would like a spot. I'm not even charging for these spots for the first go around. I'm just creating spots because I just want to see how this works. I'm going to do that. But nice. I give shout outs all the time because if you do great work, someone should say it.
Yeah. Recognize good people.
Recognize good people. Recognize great business. Mm-hmm. All right. And my last shout out goes to Christopher Carnes. Hey, man. You know, great work, man. That's all I can say. Great work. Super, super proud. So, all right. And we are on to the last thing, which is the parting words of wisdom. So, Lynnsey, what do you have for the parting words of wisdom?
Okay. I'll put my wise hat on for a second. I think it's really, getting to know people who have lived different circumstances than yourself. And getting to know different perspectives and different backgrounds.
Agreed. What do you think? Have a good time?
I did. It was fun.
Yeah, buddy. All right. You know what time it is, y'all. I appreciate you all. The Kosh.